Hello and welcome back to the A&R Podcast. I'm your co-host Ryan.
I'm your other co-host Addison.
And here today we have a special guest, Madeline.
Hello.
Yep. So today we are reviewing the show Pose on FX, also on Netflix obviously. So Pose is set in the 1980s and is a dance musical that explores the juxtaposition of several segments of life and society in New York. The ball culture world, the rise of the luxury Trump-era universe, the downtown social and literary scene. Blanca, our main character, forms a, quote, house, a self-selected family that provides support to LGBTQ youth who have been rejected by their birth families. So let's get right into it. And before we start, I have to just say one thing. All the other queer shows, I should say American queer shows, because other places have really great shows, can choke. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, Love Victor's like, I wish you queer inclusive. Shut up. You don't hold a candle to Pose with all I think even all the actors, I think besides Evan Peters, is queer.
Yeah,
We
it's
got
so
trans
good.
representation, we got gay representation, we got bi representation. I think all the actors are. Maybe the actors who like play Damon, Ricky, and Lil Poppy aren't queer. Who knows? But I just had to say that. But let's like actually get into like the presentation of the show. So
I mean, it really is super good though. Like, cause there's so much like representation and also like so much queer history in there that like I didn't even know. And so it's so good and educational, but also so good. Like the story is also really good.
yeah. So yeah, that's a little tidbit. Let's get into our like general presentation of the show. Personally, for me, I thought the way that they shot it was very interesting, especially when they do all the balls. Like the camera is just so like weird and intricate, but I always thought it was like really, really cool. And then obviously just in general, everyone who I guess performs, I guess is the right word, at the ball is always like in some amazing dress or t-shirt or something, and they always look amazing. And like obviously that's like the point because it's show how good you are. It's just I don't know. I'm very happy that it's cool. I personally now want to go see a ballroom, I guess. If I ever go to New York, which I probably will, you know.
Yeah. That would be so cool. Yeah, once Corona's over.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I love the costumes. Like they definitely had a lot of fun with that.
Did anyone have a favorite costume? Because I have a few.
Well, obviously the royalty ones were so good.
Those ones from the museum. Those are really cool.
Oh yeah, the intro one. Yeah, that was really good. Personally, for me though, my favorite was actually Electra's one. In the last episode where she has like the golden.
Oh, I like that one.
I thought that was stunning. What was actually kind of confusing though, and like, I think I'm not sure if Blanca wears this for the Mother of the Year ball, but I think it's in the last episode. But she wears some like I want to say basic, but like the other girl who she's going up against, personally I think had like a cooler dress. Obviously, I don't know how these like as I watched it more, I kind of understood how you get judged on the balls, and there are categories I understand how they work, and there's others that didn't make any sense to me. But like for the ones I did, there were times where some characters won, and I'm like, personally, I don't think they should have won. I don't know, just my opinion.
It kind of felt like a lot of the time that they were just kind of like, I don't know, like, yes, 10, 10, 10, 10, just for the hype of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, maybe that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
What about you, Madeline? Did you have a favorite?
I really liked Blanca's dress when she finally like beat Elektra in that one contest, the pink one. It was so pretty.
Oh, and like I think like in the pilot episode?
It might have been the pilot episode or like the second episode, yeah.
Okay. Also, I would like to say one thing. I'm just kind of looking through the just the thumbnails on Netflix. Besides the dresses and the makeup, which are all amazing, just like their normal clothes, I thought were always good. And like
Yeah.
for some characters, I understood like how they got like all the rich clothes. Like with Electra, she was getting money from, I think his name was Dale or something. So that's like how the House of
Mr. Ford.
Abundance was making all their money. But like I didn't understand how like Blanca or Angel always had like something really good. I'm like, aren't you guys poor? Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't think
I think
Blanca.
Angel made like a lot of money
Yeah,
at Show World, but
but
yeah,
did
Mhm.
Blanca
Blanca
had
ever
an
have a
apartment.
job?
Like, oh, she was a nail artist.
That's what she was.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because I was like, she must have had a job.
Yeah.
And
I don't
then,
know. I
sorry.
think they get a lot of their clothing from Pray Tell, but also like
Mm-hmm.
maybe not. Maybe that's just for the balls.
I feel like
I
they
Possibly.
don't know.
pay him too. Like they
Yeah.
publish
Yeah.
it.
And like, okay, but how does Pray Tell make his money? Because he seems to be very
He
rich.
works at a store.
He works
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
at
like he
what
works
was
at
it,
a
Macy's?
store though,
Yeah, like a department store, I think.
but like he seems so rich though.
He does kind of seem
Yeah.
rich.
So
That's what
that
I
was
was
like,
thinking, like, first of all, how do they get these trophies? Do they keep I don't think they keep reusing them. Where do they put all the
Yeah.
trophies?
and
Yeah,
how
there's
do they
like so
keep
many
getting
trophies.
trophies? That's the
Yeah,
real
like
Yeah.
trophies
question.
are expensive. They're like $50
Yeah.
each. How are they affording them?
Literally.
Yeah.
Especially
Maybe
these like
there's like an
huge
entrance
ones.
fee
That's
for
what
the
I was
balls.
thinking.
Possibly.
Maybe there's an entrance fee. But then like
They
you
just
just
don't
see
show it. People
like
walking in and out.
yeah, people
Yeah.
walking in, like the boyfriend,
Well,
whatever his name
maybe
is, the
like
wife.
well no, yeah, because I was gonna say maybe it's like at the door of the ballroom, but then
It's like a back door.
yeah,
So
like when we see Patty go in, she just kind of we
Yeah.
literally follow her. Like literally the camera does not cut or switch or whatever. We follow her from the entrance. She goes into like some like side room or whatever, and then she goes into the ballroom. So yeah, like how do they make their money? That
Maybe do they have like sponsors or something?
yeah, maybe
um,
like
maybe just more people like Dale.
yeah.
maybe you have to like pay to compete or something.
Like kind of like a
I don't know.
seasonal thing, because it
Yeah, or like the house
possibly.
mothers pay or something when they start their own house. I don't know.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
make sense, because it obviously it's a season thing where it seems like the Mother of the Year trophy is like the end all be all trophy for like maybe like a certain amount of time. Because
Mhm.
the big
Yeah,
trophies are Mother of the Year, the Snowball, and
Princess Ball is the same one, right? I like a little
Mhm.
different.
yeah, I think. And then I think something in the first one,
Yeah,
like whatever got Blanca her first win. I think that was like an important trophy. But speaking of Blanca, let's talk about the characters.
yeah,
Blanca, oh my god, 10 out of 10 character. I loved
love
her
her.
death. Like when I watched the pilot episode, so when they like flash sideways pretty much to Damon and they see Damon like
Yeah,
checking out some porn magazine or whatever and then he gets kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
yeah,
For me, I thought that was Blanca for a second.
Me
I thought how
too.
it's like you like learned Blanca's history, which I was like,
yeah.
wait a second.
This isn't
No.
right.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But yeah, like it was a little jarring to like it makes sense, but like the way that they formatted it was like cuz wasn't Blanca was like at the diner with I think maybe Electra or someone, I forget who. And then it's like she's sitting and then it just cuts to that. I was like,
Yeah.
"Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up a minute."
That
But
was
It
kind
does
of
like throughout the show. It kind of just cuts like rapidly from character to character, and there's like those black screens for a little bit.
oh yeah,
yeah,
That's
yeah.
I
interesting.
would always have to check. Like, I would like tap on the screen and be like, "Wait, is it done or
Did my phone
what?"
die?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happened?
But I guess let's talk about the other house mother, and then we can get into the children. Electra. Abundance.
Electra.
What are your thoughts? Because I feel like someone here is gonna be not on the same page as me. So I would
Okay.
like you guys to give your thoughts first.
I mean, at the start I wasn't really liking her, and like I kind of didn't like her most of the time, but then like towards the end I started liking her. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I mean like she's not actually that bad of a character.
Do you like the show kind of makes you want to hate her? Because, like, you're supposed to
Mhm.
root for the underdogs and Blanca to win, but Electra's, like, always against them, you know? And then
Mhm.
once her house leaves her after the surgery, I feel like Electra joins the House of Evangelista, and then, like, you kind of like her more
Hmm.
because she's on their side.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Well, I thought someone was gonna say that they thought or that they didn't like Electra, and I was gonna be like, well, you're wrong, because I also agree with you. Personally, for me, I never hated her. Like, I'm gonna make a comparison to the last show that we reviewed, Politician season 2. The way I kind of saw Electra was that she was like kind of like Dee Dee, in a
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. That
Like,
makes sense.
agreeing with what Madeline said, like you're supposed to hate her. Like
Yeah.
I got that the show was trying to make me hate her, but I couldn't hate her because she was too funny. Like she kept reading people and just ending them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, Electra coming out here slaying the game. Like, and especially I think when even further to parallel the kind of Dee Dee uh, parallel. I forget which episode, but when Blanca gets released from jail because of Elektra, Elektra talks about
Yeah.
how she kind of her like world is just the ballroom
Yeah.
because that's more or less all that she's ever known. And I kind of saw like comparing with like Dee Dee how she kind of saw very in a sense like stagnant world, like progress would be impossible because that's what Elektra was thinking as well. Like for her
Yeah.
the like progress I guess because one of the big things is the AIDS crisis because it takes place in
88.
1989. So like she
I thought it was I thought it was 88.
Maybe
possibly
it's 88
Doesn't
to
matter.
89 because
yeah
it
because
does
yeah it
go
does
into the new
happen
year.
over yeah so yeah
Yeah.
like 88, 89, where she kind of just sees her time as as Pray Tell keeps saying, time is out to get them all, and I think
Mhm.
Elektra
Mhm.
really sees that.
Yeah.
So, and I think she sees it in more of like a negative sense of, well, time is out to get me, so like, might as well not try to change. And then when we learned that she through with surgery and like the whole thing with fighting Dale. Again, I love to see an independent woman. Love that. She chose herself and her happiness over someone else. And I was like, yes, 10 out
Yeah.
of 10.
Mhm.
Like,
She honestly like chose herself over like her whole career pretty much because she
Yeah.
just got cut off from all money and couldn't get any
yeah,
more money. And I also
yeah,
really like the fact that they showed that because it's like you see how these rich white men are like kind of perverted in a way. Like
hmm
they're like, well, you have to have, or else I won't love you or whatever. And
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
We
a
need to
really
talk about
interesting
that.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's actually talk about them, but first, I think we should talk about the children because Madeline, I think you said that your favorite character was Little Poppy. Why is that?
Yes. He's just so funny. I don't know, all the jokes that he said, like he's always interrupting like these really touching moments by saying like, "Oh damn, can we eat now?" Or like,
Yeah.
"You know what? If you need someone to beat someone up, I will do it." Or like, "I have a guy who will beat anybody up." And I was like, he just, brings a side of humor that I really like.
Yeah. I personally, for me, I kind of liked Damon. Damon was
Yeah.
my
Same.
favorite child because
Um,
my favorite. Oh, actually, hmm. I want to say Damon, but I also want to say Angel.
Oh
No,
yeah,
I think
Angel's
no
pretty good
Damon.
too.
I think because I think Damon has a better arc in a sense. I shouldn't say
Yeah.
better than Angel's, but it's what should I say? It's I'll just explain myself instead of trying to say it in one word. He starts from getting literally kicked out of his house, probably abused before,
Yeah, he
because
says he was abused
same with
by his
like
father.
Angel, how she talked about when she was a child, she tried to steal some red pumps.
Mhm.
Like, obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a child get abused, but like, personally for me, seeing Damon actually kicked out of the house was
Yeah.
more meaningful. I shouldn't say more meaningful. It just kind of made more of an impact
Yeah, more
because you visually
impactful.
saw it. So that's why I kind of like Damon. Because then at the end, he's got his life on track. He's got a boyfriend who is
Yeah.
great to him. He's HIV negative, always
Yeah.
good, especially back then because no one, well, I should
Yeah.
say no one, but very little people were trying to figure out how to cure
Yeah.
it, or,
Mhm.
and especially like right now, because I don't think it's curable, but like to keep it at
It's more
bay.
treatable.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and then he's got his second year full ride scholarship at the dance school, which I
Yeah.
thought was amazing. So yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
liked him a lot.
Yeah. I guess like
Mm-hmm.
I like both Damon and Angel
Hmm.
personally, but I guess
Mm-hmm.
I could talk more about Angel because I like Damon for all the reasons you said.
Hmm.
I also
Yeah.
think him and his boyfriend are really cute, but like
Yeah.
I
um
love them.
yeah. I guess I really like Angel because she's kind of she has her boundaries and she sticks to them, I guess, even though she is working like in the sex industry and stuff like that. She
Mm.
sticks to keeping dignity to herself, like,
Yeah.
you know, all the things she says, like when her boyfriend or whatever is like, "Hey, like you need to stay here," or something like that. She's like, "Nah, I don't really care."
Yeah.
Like even though she literally is given this really nice place, she doesn't care because herself is more important, which I guess is also the case with Elektra.
Hmm.
But another thing with Angel is when like the boyfriend's wife, whatever
Pa-
that
Patty.
situation is, yeah,
Patty.
Patty, um, is talking to her and she's like, "Yeah, I want to see you downstairs." She's like, "No, like that's just
Yeah.
not okay."
Hmm.
Yeah. I love the like what she says, like if you're looking to find out who I am, that's like the last place you should look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I thought that
With,
that
was
is
mhm.
pretty
really
powerful.
important.
Should we talk about who our least favorite character was before we talk about like dialogue and theories and stuff? Or should we not try to crap all over one character? Well, okay. There's one character that I do want to talk about. I don't understand her.
Okay.
Candy. Like
Oh, Candy.
Oh yeah,
like
Candy.
it's I don't get her. Like why is she so angry? Like I get why she's angry because Electra sucked, like as
Yeah.
a house mother,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like understandable, but like she was so mean. Like
Yeah.
She was.
I think she's really self-conscious because there's that scene like after she gets a fever and she's like, I hate what I see when I look in the mirror, and she tries to like make herself look prettier or whatever
Mm,
by like
yeah.
getting all those silicone implants. I
mhm,
think she just like takes out her like self-consciousness on like other people who she's like jealous of.
Yeah, they
possibly.
showed that scene where she had like a ton of infections on her thigh and they just kind of like skimmed over that, I think. I'm pretty sure they just
Yeah.
showed it and skipped by it. Like,
Oh, that those were
Yeah.
infections? I thought that was like a bruise from the shot.
Yeah. I
oh,
was thinking more it was like a bruise.
I don't know. It was like bumpy. And I feel like it's
Yeah.
not supposed to be bumpy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I guess maybe
It was
maybe that's
definitely
something they'll
swollen.
explore in season two because personally for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
I felt well, I think we can probably all agree with this, but that Candy's story, A, is not over, and B, it was a very jarring ending. So like
Yeah, with
There has
the
to
hammer
obviously
thing.
be more. Like where she starts trying to fight one of the judges. I was like,
Judges with the
girl,
hammer. It was so
Oh,
weird.
that was so
girl, what
awesome.
you do? She pulls out a hammer. I'm like, where are you getting
Yeah.
hammers from?
I thought she was like running away, and then cause she like took off her shoes and started running, but then she pulled out a hammer and ran back.
I know.
What
Yeah.
is
I
this?
was
This
just
is
like,
so
Candy,
random.
what? I thought someone like I thought because we can talk about theories later, is well obviously yeah. But like for me there was no cliffhanger ending. It's like this seemed like it could be like a limited series in a sense,
Yeah,
like where like all just wraps neatly in a bow. Because
Mhm.
yeah.
Damon,
Maybe,
sorry, what were you gonna say, Malin?
oh, like maybe they didn't know if they were gonna get a season two, because like a lot of shows they only start out for one season, and then Netflix is like, all right, you can have a second one.
Mm-hmm. Possibly though.
They got
But
it.
like, wouldn't you want a cliffhanger to get more of a chance of a season two? That's what I
Yes.
kind of thought. Um,
Yeah.
should we talk about how the characters talk and how personally I think it's probably some of the best dialogue ever.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
dialogue is pretty good.
I
hmm
like the dialogue a lot.
I think one of the main things that I think is really good about the dialogue is the subtle transphobia and homophobia and racism
Oh
that they
yeah.
just interject all the time. Like
Yeah.
especially with Blanca and she's trying to get into this gay bar and all these
Yeah.
cis white gays are like, no, don't come in.
Yeah.
And watching that, I personally felt disgusted being a white gay, I guess.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I'm cis, maybe. But I thought that, I'm like, guys, stop being racist. Like, because I think this is a good, well, I guess I'm not the one to dictate of who should be watching shows about, like, race and class and stuff. But, like, with the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, there has been lots of talk about racism in the gay community
Yeah.
and how
Hmm.
there's like lots of like that because I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but there's this photo or I guess drawing of this iceberg, and on top of the iceberg, so it's like flat, it's all these cis, very attractive, muscular white men, and then under the water, climbing the iceberg, are people of
Oh, I
color,
saw that.
like not really
Mhm.
plus size people, just the not perfect image. So I think my point of that is that like this shows that even if you're part of a minority group, that doesn't mean that you can't still be horrible.
Yeah. Like there's still discrimination within communities,
hmm
which
Yeah.
was a really important message that they put across because that is an issue that we still have today. Like
Yeah,
there's still
Yeah.
plenty of gay people who are biphobic or transphobic
yeah.
and
Spe-
Or
so on.
racist.
Speaking of transphobia, should we talk about that? Like with the
Sure.
dialogue and stuff. Um, does anyone want to start or should I start?
Um, I can maybe start
Okay.
just because it made me so uncomfortable that these trans women were demeaning other trans women because they're
Oh
not
yeah.
trans enough or something, and like
Yeah.
throwing all
They
these
don't
hateful
pass.
things that they wouldn't want to be thrown at them.
hmm
And it's
Yeah.
like, why are you hurting your own people? Like, be
hmm
nice. I guess maybe
Yeah.
the shade
Yeah.
is part of the, I don't know,
Culture.
culture. Yeah,
But
but the
that's
culture's
like
too mean.
yeah, the culture is a little toxic. Like it's
Yeah,
like
toxic.
And the harsh.
in a sense. Uh, question though for you, Addie. The transphobia that you're talking about, where the trans women are being transphobic to the trans women, are you talking about in episode 8 when Blanca goes to her first ball and she's like got like the pink dress and then like she just tries her best and then when she goes outside, there's the three girls who are just being extremely horrible to her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
there's
made me
that
so
where they're
sad.
Yeah.
like, you're just a cross dresser, which they say so many times, I think.
Yeah.
And also in the last episode with Blanca, where the House of Ferocity was also just calling her like, you're just a cross-dresser and like you don't pass enough. It's like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
could
it's like,
attack so many other things.
Well,
yeah.
let's not try to attack anyone in general, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
but if they have to
They,
or
they were
feel that,
they're like throwing shade, but that was like a really weird thing to like pick on, especially because they're
yeah.
all like had to go through that at some point. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, I agree. Especially one of the biggest parts I think what episode? Mother's Day, yeah. When
The last
Blanca
one.
goes to visit her family because it's the death of her mom.
Oh, not the
Literally,
last one. Sorry.
oh my God, I could not with that episode. Like everyone's just using pretty sure the correct term is dead name, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Mm.
y'all just can you not? And then when you learn, so you first learn that the mom has said that Blanca has died, but then you learn that the mom didn't say that, but that Blanca's sister told her that her mother said that she died. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
boy, no thank you. Stop it with your conniving booty. I don't want
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was a very good episode though at the end where actually no, not at the end because the end was really sad and scary. The middle part. So Blanca goes to the funeral and then I forget what was it her aunt?
I think it was like an aunt or something. Yeah.
Yeah, who calls her by her dead name and then she's like, "No, my name is Blanca." And then she calls her by her name and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes." Like it's like that's
Oh
all
yeah.
you need to do. Like if you accidentally call someone the wrong name, just call
Yep.
them the name that they would prefer. Sorry, this is a side tangent. It's just like in general, like if you call someone like, "Oh, hey, Jimmy," and then they turn around like, "Oh, my name isn't Jimmy. It's actually Billy." You're not gonna be like, "Well, I'm gonna call you Jimmy." You're gonna be like, "No, oh, I'm sorry, Billy. Nice to meet you. My name is XYZ." So it's just like, also though, I like the fact that the person did call Blanca by her name, but also, in my opinion, it felt a little weird, and it felt like it was not like a ploy, but like a plot device to get Blanca to the house. Because I feel like, because when you first see them, like when Blanca's walking up, they were rude. I didn't understand. Yeah, so Pray Tell ended those women for being rude. So it's weird that the aunt came over and was like, "Oh, would you like to come over?" So that was a little confusing. I think we should talk about Patty now because the way that she talks and her mannerisms because I think personally, I think she's a really good character and she's nice, but like
Mhm.
she's also homophobic and
Oh
transphobic
yeah.
to a T.
Mm-hmm.
But like personally for me, and I don't know why I think this, but even though that she is transphobic and homophobic, I still really like her because I think her transphobia and homophobia come from more of not understanding
Yeah.
hmm
than actual hatred.
Yeah. Like she's from the suburbs of like New Jersey, I think. So she's like never really dealt with anybody other than like straight white people, I'm guessing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
new
And
to the whole thing.
especially when
Blanca?
Stan and Patty
Stan?
are at the psychiatrist
Oh yeah.
therapist person and then Patty's like, "Oh, are you a homosexual?" So number one,
Yeah.
that's transphobic and homophobic right away.
Yeah.
Because transphobic, because that's saying that Angel isn't a woman. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, miss, but can you shut up?" And then
Yeah.
homophobic, because then she says, "Did something happen to you when you were a
Oh
kid?"
yeah.
And I was like,
Oh
"Oh boy,
yeah.
you did not."
That
Yeah.
is definitely, I guess, miseducation.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
was interesting because I thought she was gonna say something more along the lines of, "Well, why would you choose this?" Because that's why, like, I shouldn't say that's acceptable homophobia, but like, because she thinks more now that, like, from what I gathered, she thinks the fact that he's gay, or the fact that she thinks that he is gay, which I think we should talk about Stan after Patty, and our thoughts about him, is that trauma or something like that happened, possibly where he was assaulted by another man, or something along those lines that made him gay, which is interesting, because I've actually personally never heard someone say, like, I've always heard being gay is just a choice, but I've never heard that being gay can come from trauma, which is very interesting to say the least.
I remember hearing that somebody was trying to apply to Harvard or something like that, and they like asked, he was openly gay, and they were like, oh, like, do you have a good relationship with your mother? Do you have a good relationship with your father? And he said yes to both, and then he's like, well, if like I had said no to one of them, you probably would have said either like if it was my mom that it deterred me from women, or if it was my dad, I'm looking for a man to fill that position or something like that.
Yeah, like daddy issues.
Yeah. And it's just, I guess, comes from that like gay is a mental illness situation thought.
Which I thought when you were going to say this story, I thought you were going to talk about the person who wrote to Harvard about how they were gay, got into Harvard, and then they're like, lol, I'm not gay. I thought you were going to say that, and I was like, well, I would love to see how you're going to connect that to this. But yeah.
Oh no.
That happened?
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure. I heard that. Yeah. So I think since we're talking about Patty, I think Stan, and I think we should probably move into like theories on this, like theories on the characters, because for me, I think Stan, I don't know, like he was talking about how he went to some porn store or whatever, and he saw a magazine that said a she-male on it, which I was like, stop, get some help. But he got hard at the sight of a penis. And I was like, okay, like, I guess we should tread light, because, okay, a penis does not make a man, just like a vagina does not make a woman. Like, okay. He likes Angel, so he likes women, we know that for sure.
Yeah.
Does he like men?
I think maybe he's confused. Just like really confused. And maybe also because he lives in these suburbs, he definitely has a lot of internal homophobia, which he might be putting onto himself. So he might be bisexual, but afraid. Because when his wife says that, he does that thing where like you close down.
Yeah.
Because
Larry starts breaking down as well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Madeline? What do you think?
I don't know, because like he says it wasn't like, and there's that whole part in where Angel and Stan are in bed and he cannot perform, and she blames it on the fact that she thinks that it's because he likes her male genitalia more than he likes her like as a woman kind of thing. And she also accuses him of being gay, I think, or like asks what his story is and then won't like sleep with him until he tells her, and he tells her about that whole experience in the porn store where like he got aroused by the sight of like a woman with male genitalia. And
maybe he is one of those people who have like fetish, who fetishize like
kind of thinking like
trans women.
Which is like you.
Kind of like Electra's sugar daddy.
Dale. Yeah.
Mr. Ford.
Dale, like, okay. Oh, and then same with the other dude that Electra meets, where he's like, I want you to urinate on me. Something about having good aim, and she's like, no. Like,
you can't do that.
Can't do that. And she's like, I'm a full woman. Which
he's like, your ad didn't say that.
Yeah. Like, I think.
And then leaves. Like.
Yeah. Like I've been thinking about like the show like obviously makes you think a lot
Yeah.
because uh when Electra said that she said the phrase I'm a full woman.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I'm not trans so I cannot dictate, but I felt that was in a sense good phrase but also a toxic phrase. So I'll try to say good because she said in a liberating sense because that's what she wanted to do. So I get that she wanted to undergo the surgery because
Mm-hmm.
some people choose not to, some people do choose to, and obviously none of my business. But she chose to do that. But I also feel like it could be toxic in the sense that it's kind of saying to trans women that you're not fully a woman if you don't
Yeah.
undergo the
Yeah.
surgery, which
Yeah. Exactly.
you may not go under for multitude of factors. Number one, maybe like
Health reasons.
health, cost, personal
Cost. Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I thought that was a very interesting phrase, which I think
Yeah.
is which is a I think it I personally I think it's okay that she said that because then Angel contrasts that by saying that she's a full woman even
Yeah.
if she has that when she's talking about it. So I think it's okay to say because you can see both sides and you can see how both uh, these women are very strong, independent people. So I think it was okay to say. I personally I didn't like the that she said that. Like I was
Yeah.
kind of leaning more to the toxic side, but I did understand her side. So
I think the the writer, right, Ryan Murphy,
yeah.
probably did a lot of these uncomfortable situations because that was the normal 30 years ago. And today, like, so much has changed. Even in just the past 10 years, people
Hmm.
are so much more accepted
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard for us to believe that that was the case. So, putting in all of these, I guess, situations and conversations and sayings um, helps you to realize how far we've come and how it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I get what you're saying. Should we, though, move on to possible theories? Even though it's kind of hard to tell, like, what theories are, because, as I said before, everything kind of wraps up neatly in a bow. I think, though, that a possible theory could be that maybe, and just maybe, Stan, 100%, he's gonna come back somehow, but I think what could be really interesting is so I think Stan has anxiety or something because when he's in the ballroom, the way that it was shot was obviously like he was
Yeah.
panicking or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he
Yeah.
has anxiety or something. So I think possibly a season two plotline for him could be him kind of getting over his anxiety. So
Yeah.
because he wants to be with Angel and she wants to be with someone who she can take care of and who can take care of her. And obviously, she's found that in the house of
Mm-hmm.
Evangelista. But I think Stan's going to try to
Like, be the
possibly.
father.
I
Quote
wasn't gonna
unquote
say that. I
father.
was gonna say possibly like it could make sense, but like in reality, I feel like it wouldn't make sense. But that he
Mm.
could possibly be part of the ballrooms. Like he would keep going to more and more ballrooms, and then maybe one night there's maybe like a category of like Prince Charming or something like that,
Oh, yeah.
where he walks the ball, and I think that could be a very interesting turning point for his character, and I think Angel's character because um I forget. I think he said this, where he said, Angel's life, a big part of her life is the balls, and a big part of his life is work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, they kind of more like each other on a fantasy level than they do, like,
Yeah.
not like they like the idea of being together because being, like, in reality, being together is hard for them. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that could possibly be something. And then, like, because I think he's the only, like, because obviously I don't know how like you like just from what it seems the way you get put in a house is just a house mother or a house father comes up to you and they're just like, hey, you want to be in this house? And you're just like, sure. So like it could be interesting if he somehow joins a house, or actually, as you said, Addie, starts a house. It would make more sense if the show was happening in 2020, because like I feel something back then, 1989, 1988. If someone did that, I feel like they would be killed.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, for me, I think, someone has to die by violence. I
Yeah,
shouldn't say that, but I think like the fact that no one, or not even a mention of the fact that someone
yeah, like violence,
was
like
killed,
besides domestic.
or yeah, like no one was like killed out of murder, because the people who keep dying are from AIDS.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I haven't looked at the crime reports, but even still now, if all these trans women, especially trans women of color, are getting just killed,
Yeah,
must have
even
been
today.
way more rampant in 88, 89. So the fact that they never mention it, or they don't die, or like you never see it, obviously, interesting. I feel though that possibly Lulu or Candy would be killed off.
Oh, yeah.
And I really don't want them to go, but like personally for me, I think it could kind of make sense. Like I think it could be kind of like I want to say a double kill, but I think if Lulu gets killed, because she doesn't have a plot, she's kind of more like an attachment to Candy. So if Lulu gets killed, that could possibly push Candy over the edge.
Yeah.
So I
Which
think
would
that could be interesting.
show two different problems in one situation. Oh god.
Yeah, which is obviously very important
Yeah.
to talk about. So yeah, like, and then does anyone have any theories on Pray Tell? Because obviously he's going to be quite. He's good. Well, he's obviously going to be battling HIV in season 2.
Oh yeah. He's probably gonna get sicker because
Do
he is
Yeah.
older.
Mhm.
Or yeah, Blanca as well is
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she might.
going
Well,
to have.
obviously Blanca's not going to die. You know
Yeah,
that.
she
Because there's a
probably
season
shouldn't
3,
die.
and I read something where in season 3, so it's not even, it hasn't even been shot yet, but I think
Yeah.
Ryan Murphy like posted it on Instagram. Yeah, he did. He posted on Instagram, because I think it was during like when everyone was donating masks. He was talking about how in post season 3, Blanca is going to work at actually like an AIDS like
Oh,
health
nice.
center or something like that. So I think that that's really interesting. Okay. Also, like this isn't really a theory, but it's just more. It's kind of a theory. I really hope that they were, because the show gives no f's about straight people, like at all. Like in the sense that it's just like they're not gonna stop to teach you about queer culture. They're just like, bam,
Mm-hmm.
welcome to a ball. Like personally for me, I had never known about balls until
I
I
think I
started watching the
vaguely
show.
heard about it, but like
I
never
hadn't
actually comprehended that
Yeah.
they existed.
Yeah. And
I hadn't heard of it. Yeah.
yeah. So like obviously right now it's good that HBO Max brought out the show Legendary, which is all about ballroom. So I think that's good. And
Oh yeah.
obviously that's good representation, because everyone is obviously is being true to themselves and stuff. But so my hope that in season 2 they dive way in, like, because they do touch on it, because obviously it's important, but I hope they talk more about AIDS. Like,
Yeah.
because, so for me, things that I learned, or quote, learned and quote, learned about balls for real. They kind of teach you, they kind of give you a little uh, queer sex ed.
Yeah,
Kinda,
a
not
little bit.
really. Which I think could be very interesting if they like I don't know how they would do it, but like do more of that possibly, because no school is gonna teach two boys how to properly like be safe. Because I think the way that Blanca said was like, "Oh, you're a bottom, Damon. Okay, don't fall in love with another bottom, and use protection." And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What?
He's like, what if I
Like,
do? She's like, well, you're just gonna be hitting your
well,
purses all night. It's like, oh gosh, that's a little
yeah.
stereotypical, but okay.
Personally, I thought that was funny, because
Yeah, it was really
like,
funny though.
yeah, and especially okay. So if Damon is a bottom, which obviously I'm not gonna put a sex position onto the characters, but yeah, let's just say Damon's a bottom because that's what he self-identifies as. And
Yeah.
then Ricky is a verse. I really like them, and I really hope that they kind of push more into it. Damon, I want to say breaking away from, but how do I want to say this without offending Madeline? You know what? Who cares? Sorry, Madeline. If you're a straight person, you have like kind of like a set ideology of what a quote or not a quote, but like a bottom has like is more feminine and the top is more masculine or whatever. And I really liked how obviously they show that that's obviously not true because Damon has lots of femininity but lots of masculinity, and I personally I hope more that they kind of switch it up even more, like where Ricky becomes more feminine, because I feel like
Yeah.
Ricky is like still on a journey of finding himself. Obviously all
Yeah.
these characters are, but I think he's really doing it, especially because he got into the Al B music video. So now he's learning that he
Yeah.
likes dance.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
maybe he could get more into like, I don't know, possibly what connects to dance? I was gonna say fashion. But fashion and dance kind of go together, like same with like makeup, because like how you
Yeah.
visually present yourself. So I think that could possibly be interesting, kind of, I want to say subverting it, but like showing that, because first up they're breaking away that being gay is just being feminine, and then they're destroying the stereotype that depending on your sex position you have a set amount of traits. Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be really interesting if Ricky like starts experimenting with makeup, because I feel like
Ooh,
like
that would be so good.
That would be cool.
it would be very interesting, because personally for me I like when they show it's, and it's even I barely can think of any character, any male character, even gay well, I guess especially gay, because you would not really see a straight person do this, but you know they can obviously really experiment with makeup on screen. You see that more as like you see that on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like I like people need to put more. I feel like this is more of like other shows done, because obviously we're in 2020 and they're in 1998 or 1989, sorry, where they show queer characters, queer men, and straight men experimenting with makeup and femininity in general. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be especially nice because he is so masked, and I guess makeup can be for masked people, but like usually it's not seen that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so cool when it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what I really do like though about him, Madeline, did I cut you off by accident?
No.
Okay, I thought you said something. Like I like how he's so secure in his masculinity. I like how all these characters are
Yeah.
secure in themselves. Like even when they're insecure, they're still in a sense secure with themselves. So I really like that, because
Yeah.
as we keep talking about, it's representation, because I think we were talking about this with the politicianity, where you show more people who are trans and gay, bisexual, non-binary, etc., and kids who are trying to figure themselves out can look on screen and kind of see, in a sense, a light at the end of the tunnel and see themselves represented on screen. So, like, I think that's really good, especially because also, and obviously this is obvious, but yeah, poses is a show that has the most transgender um actors in a scripted format, which is just
Yeah.
like it's like obvious because honestly that's probably trans and just queer people in general. Because I don't think there's any other show that's scripted that has like so many queer people as the main characters, which is another thing
Yeah.
which I'm gonna keep saying this. Another thing which I really like about the show, because like even the sideline characters don't feel like sideline characters, which is obviously a big thing with media, especially teen shows where it's like the gay character is a sideline character and it's so obvious, or they'll say that they're the main character but they're sideline. For
Yeah.
example, if you guys have been reading up on it, with Vanessa Morgan in Riverdale, so she plays a lesbian,
Yeah.
and so she's a or season regular, sorry, but she has like one or two scenes. So like it's like even when some queer people are the main characters in shows, especially teen shows, which is obviously the time where kids are figuring out their sexuality, like teen to like late 20s. Obviously, you can figure it out in the future, but it seems like a big mass of people figure it out between this time because that's kind of when we start becoming.
Yeah.
Well, if we choose or people around us become sexually active. So, yeah. So my point is that even the sideline characters are still main characters in a sense. So that's something that I really like. Does anyone have anything about the show that they don't like though? Because I need to know so that I can stop being friends with you. I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
But was there personally anything for you guys that you didn't like about the show? Because
No, I don't think so. Like, the only time I got bored was at the end, which is probably because I was just binge watching it and I got bored at the end, which is normal. But yeah, it's like really grasping all the time.
Yeah.
I
Madeline,
really
what
liked
about
it.
you?
I thought the end was a little predictable, but like in a good way. You know, it was like a happy ending, which, you know, I kind of saw coming. Like, we all knew Blanca was going to win Mother of the Year, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like she deserved it though. So it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so, yeah. You guys love the show. I guess the only thing that I didn't like about the show was that I shouldn't say I didn't like it. It's just a little confusing, but we already talked about this. How there's no cliffhanger or anything. Everything more or less just wraps up in a nice bow,
Yeah.
which is a little weird for shows to do. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
they might have not gotten a second season,
Mhm.
but like they could have. I feel like they could have had it nicely wrap up in a bow with like Blanca and Pray Tell and Angel and Damon and Ricky and Lil Poppy, and then the two other guys who were from Abundance, then Ferocity, and then Evangelista. But possibly like loose threads, maybe with maybe Stan and his boss, I think Matt, where maybe somehow Matt figures out. Sorry, did you say something, Madeline?
Oh, I do not like Matt. Matt is an asshole.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Matt
sorry.
sucks, but yeah, like I thought possibly a loose end could be maybe Matt figures out that Angel is a trans woman,
Oh yeah, that
and then
would
possibly
be...
threatens to like expose in quotes Matt or not Matt, sorry, Stan, because as we know, Patty wasn't gonna say that Angel was a trans woman because that would like bring shame, or she didn't want to hurt him like that or something along the lines of just like. So I feel like there should have been some, like maybe like one or two things possibly, in my opinion.
I mean, that family situation didn't really end up in a bow. There's still more to the story where what is it? Stan's kids, once they grow up, Patty's just gonna is she gonna move out or have him move out? One of the two. I really like how she took such an initiative with that. Like, I don't know, it was really interesting how she was like, okay, I already have a plan. You're a part of it, but you didn't get to help make it. It sucks for you. It was your fault.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I guess that was our review for season 1 of Pose. Next week we will be reviewing season 2. Again, Madeline will be there. So there's that. So that was our review. This is the A&R Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ryan.
And I'm Addison.
Thank you both for having me so much. I'll see you all next week.
Peace out, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.